Reginald here. I've been doing a series of tier lists for Havoc 40 melee weapons. Today I will be doing Ogryn. All the notes from my previous videos still stand, so go watch those if you don't know what I mean. Alright, let's talk Ogryn. So Ogryn's in a funny spot. Unfortunately, Ogryn doesn't have a single thing that's in the broken tier. It would be really nice if he had something that was at least like solidly S tier, but there's actually nothing that's solidly S tier on Ogryn. And I know someone's gonna be like, well, what about the shield? The shield is an A tier. It has some downsides. It has 2 dodges. It has terrible sprint stamina. It's slow as molasses to use. It's the strongest weapon on Ogryn in Havoc 40. Right next to it, and I do mean right next to it, are the Pickaxes. Starting with the Carsolus, which is this one, and probably the other two sort of in this order. I think the Barovian is probably the least important, and the Branks has got the most like obvious Thunderhammer vibes, but ultimately the Carsolus is the best. And the reason for the Carsolus being the best is because the Carsolus has the most damage output for the least investment of resources and the fastest rate of regenerating toughness due to its repeating heavy diagonals with large cleave. That's what matters. Survivability is what matters in Havoc. These weapons bring survivability in that way, and they're ordered by the survivability or value that they bring. Pretty simple. Next up, Cleavers. I would have liked to have said the Cleavers have niche value as mobility weapons, but they don't, and they are ordered properly here. The
Mark IV Cleaver
is the best Cleaver. It's decent into carapace. It's good into hordes. It's got solid time to kill, but it doesn't have mobility, so why are you taking this? The decent upsides are like good horde clear, I guess. It's definitely not a niche or barely workable pick. Like, it's a solid weapon. It's just not very impressive. The Mark III Cleaver is also decent. The Mark VI Cleaver is kind of bad, actually, so we're going to drop that all the way down to C, and I wouldn't take it. Next up for Ogryn are the clubs. Unfortunately in Havoc, and these weapons are solid, like, B to A choices in Oryx, mind you. Truly, but the problem is the clubs aren't good in Havoc. They don't have good TTKs, and they are slow, and they don't feel good to use, and they have a cleave cap, which makes them bad in a hordes. Like, they're just not good weapons. Like, don't waste your time. This shovel's bad in Havoc, and it's bad in Oryx, so don't take it. The shovels that are good are these two, and it actually looks like this. You can get a B value out of the brownish one with basically, like, how do I explain these two folding shovels? They are inferior pickaxes. They have like nothing better about them than the pickaxe. That's it. They're literally just worse than the pickaxe. So don't waste your time. Literally, also funny story, the punch on these things got nerfed so hard at some point that it's now weaker than the Cleaver's punch, the Cleaver's punch can stagger Auric Crushers. The shovel can't. So they're bad. Okay. This is the one I want you to pay attention to for the C tier, the niche pick or barely workable. Most of the ones I've listed here are barely workable. This is a niche pick. Power Maul, not good, except Power Maul is very useful for stagger. If you have a team that you really need like lots of AoE stagger for, it does work to just spam special attacks with this weapon. Is it good? Not really. Is the damage leaving a lot to be desired? Absolutely, you're gonna have a terrible time killing anything. It's basically a wiffle bat, but it will turn entire waves of enemies into very distracted, slow-moving, and unattentive soup. It can just turn hordes off given a good choke point. So for that reason, this weapon kind of breaks the game a little bit, but is so niche in doing so that you don't really want to run it. It kind of makes the game unfun. It's like Ogryn has really bad smite. I don't know how else to better explain it. So I don't run it because very often, but I wish I could. It's kind of my view that the Power Maul should really be Ogryn's best weapon. Like, if in my dream world, we'd be looking at something where this weapon is S tier, but instead where it's very C tier. Okie dokie, that was everything for Ogryn's melee weapons. Not a particularly long list, I know. Maybe we can fix that someday. I will eventually get a chance to do ranged weapons as well, and when I do, I will eventually build a basic gestalt video for all of the weapons' relative balance in the game. I hope you had some fun. Warm regards.
Reginald.
I would like to take a moment to express my genuine and significant gratitude to Bonehead for becoming my first Oath Taker level member. Your support really does mean a lot to me and has made it so much easier for me to continue to justify the amount of effort I pour into this channel. I'd also like to thank Miles Williams Lewis and Joseph Davison for supporting my channel through my Adept level membership. Your atypical support really means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. I'd also like to extend a thank you to the rest of my members. Support helps the channel a lot. If you would like to become a member of this channel, there is a link in the description below and a join button next to the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for visiting. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.